We are live in 3, 2, 1.
The controversial tax reform bill that was approved last month is repealed.
Senator Mitt Romney is caught with contraband BYU Creamery chocolate milk at the impeachment trial.
Every day has been a blessing.
A Utah Paralympics double amputee is invited to the Ellen Show. Welcome to Newsline. It's Wednesday, January 29th. I'm Andrea Cabrera.
And I'm Bella Erickson. The Senate wrapped up another day in the impeachment trial after President Trump's legal team made their case for his acquittal.
President Trump at a rally in New Jersey just hours after his legal team concluded opening arguments in his impeachment trial.
While we are creating jobs and killing terrorists, the congressional Democrats are obsessed with demented hoaxes, crazy witch hunts.
The president's lawyers making an appeal to senators to acquit him and questioning the motives of the House impeachment managers.
You are being asked to remove a duly elected president of the United States, and you're being asked to do it in an election year.
Adjourned.
The trial now moves into a question and answer stage.
I remind senators that their questions must be in writing, will be submitted to the Chief Justice.
Both parties strategizing how to use that time and also how to handle the question of witnesses, in particular for Democrats, former National Security Advisor John Bolton.
There is no substitute for a witness speaking under oath to the senators.
A leaked draft of an upcoming book by Bolton says Trump ordered a hold on military aid to Ukraine until the country agreed to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden. Some Republicans say one witness could lead to many more.
We've heard dozens of witnesses, hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents, and hundreds of hours of repetitive testimony. I don't know what more we could hear.
Whether a majority of senators vote to allow witnesses will determine how quickly final votes on the articles of impeachment could take place.
Senator Mitt Romney is calling for witnesses to testify in the impeachment trial. Senator Romney wants to call John Bolton to the stand to give his testimony instead of a book manuscript. The former National Security Advisor, John Bolton, was fired by President Trump in September of last year. Bolton allegedly has a manuscript of his next book, claiming that Trump released military aid in return for Ukraine investigating Democrats. A call for a witness has created a fight over Romney and whether he is being an unbiased judge or trying to condemn Trump.
A Wasatch County School District employee is behind bars after encouraging underage students to drink alcohol and have sexual contact with each other. 33-year-old Ashley Ann Morgan was booked into the Summit County Jail on charges of child abuse, witness tampering, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. According to the Summit County Sheriff's Office, Morgan invited a 17-year-old girl and 2 other teenage boys to her home to drink alcohol. The female student says Morgan encouraged her to have sexual contact with one of the male students. Police say Morgan also threatened the girl if she reported her to the authorities.
Utah leaders repeal a controversial tax reform bill at the Capitol.
A bill to reduce income tax but raise sales tax on food and gas passed just last month. More than 152,000 signatures were gathered by a referendum to overturn the bill. In reaction to those signatures collected, the legislature overturned the bill 70-1 in the House and unanimously in the Senate. Gary Herbert signed to repeal the bill yesterday. The Lieutenant Governor's office is asking lawmakers for guidance on the next step.
A new bill has been introduced in the Utah State Senate requiring women who have an abortion or a miscarriage to decide how to dispose of the remains. According to UtahPolicy.org, the bill was modeled after an Indiana law that was upheld by the Supreme Court in 2019. The bill says an aborted fetus will have to be disposed of, quote, properly, instead of automatically disposed of as a medical waste. Senator Kurt Bramble hopes having the women think about disposing of the remains will encourage them to think twice about having an abortion.
Another bill is waiting to be approved by the Utah House of Representatives. The new bill requires clergy members to report child abuse if it is disclosed in a confessional. The current bill states that clergy members are exempt from reporting child abuse if the information is given in a religious confessional. It was introduced in the House on Monday and is waiting for discussion before it is sent to the Senate.
Tooele City Police Department looking for a woman they believe may have information about an armed robbery. Take a look at this picture. Police want to question the woman in the driver's seat of this car. If you recognize this woman, contact the Tooele County Dispatch Center and reference case 00240 or message their tip line at tipacop@tooelecity.org.
A man charged with trespassing in one state turns out to be a Utah fugitive. 49-year-old Richard Schlenginger was stopped by deputies in Louisiana for driving his mower on someone else's land. When the police booked him, the fingerprints revealed that he was a wanted man in Bountiful for aggravated assault and felony theft. Schlenginger has been living in Louisiana for 11 years with no ID, only taking cash jobs. Utah authorities have notified the sheriff's office that they plan to extradite him.
Salt Lake City police say a photo of a police officer making an obscene gesture was photoshopped. Police say this photo, which appears to show an officer flipping off the camera, has been edited. Cops used forensics to investigate the picture, which shows the blue area around the hand has been changed. They posted a side-by-side photo on Twitter, as well as a link to the video of the incident.
A Utah Paralympic athlete is invited on the Ellen Show.
Every day has been a blessing. It's a blessing that I'm even here and able to walk, so y'all go chase your dreams. Don't listen to what other people tell you, yeah?
21-year-old Hunter Woodhall is a Paralympics double amputee who runs track. He gained a lot of attention when he shared his story through TikTok. The video got 5.5 million views. Ellen invited him to her show where he shared his story and was awarded $20,000 to help him get to the Summer Paralympics.
Pleasant Grove's Evermore Park has made the list for 2019's World's Coolest Places in Time for Kids magazine. To find the world's coolest places, the magazine turned to the experts, kids and readers around the globe. Time's coolest places were chosen based on a handful of factors including quality, originality, sustainability, and accessibility. Evermore Park is an escape to Fantasyland full of food and fun for the entire family. Guests of all ages are invited to join the Evermore realm. See evermore.com for event dates and ticket purchases. The investigation into the chopper crash that killed Kobe Bryant is underway. We'll tell you what federal investigators say could have prevented the crash.
PETA wants to retire famous groundhog Punxsutawney Phil. We'll tell you why and what could take his place.
A man in Tennessee gets in trouble for committing a crime in front of a judge. What he did and how long he'll spend in jail next.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
When you think of Miami, you think of, rich, glamour, but 5 miles away from the beach, there's people who've never seen the beach. I was confused why somebody was in this situation, especially in America. So when I started Joshua's Heart Foundation, it was a key thing to be able to engage youth in the foundation, to help them participate. I think passing on the torch and lighting a new flame in another person to do good is probably one of the bigger missions that I have. So we are each making a bigger difference. That's it, just giving back and producing love for everybody.
A jet carrying U.S. consulate employees from Wuhan, China, has been diverted to a military base in California.
Earlier on, it was scheduled to land in Ontario. Amid coronavirus concerns, the plane is set to land early this morning with about 240 Americans on board. Before landing on California, it will refuel in Anchorage, where U.S. officials will screen the passengers. A helicopter lifts debris from the site where Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi crashed.
Now you can see here that the debris is being transported for investigation. Federal investigators say the helicopter lacked a recommended safety device that alerts the pilot if they're too close to land to avoid crashing. Investigators also say that finding the cause of what happened will take months.
The worst thing you could possibly do in front of a judge is committing a crime you're being charged for. A defendant in Tennessee lit a joint in front of a judge during his trial for marijuana possession. The man argued that marijuana should be legal in Tennessee. The judge charged him with other disorderly conduct charge for smoking marijuana in court, and the man will spend 10 days in jail.
Have you ever worried about a robot taking your job? Animal rights group People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, commonly known as PETA, wants to retire Pennsylvania's famous groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil. PETA wants to replace this groundhog with a robot because they feel Groundhog Day is too stressful for the little guy.
U.S. service members suffered brain injuries from the Iranian missile attack on troops in Iraq earlier this month.
We'll tell you how many are injured and what President Trump has to say.
Postpartum depression is real and extremely hard for moms to deal with. Coming up, I'll give you some ideas that can help.
Plus, we've only seen a few snowstorms this winter season. Coming up, I'll tell you how our snowpack's doing up there in the mountains and give you a look at the full forecast. That's next.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
More U.S. service members suffered brain injuries than previously known from the Iranian missile attack on troops in Iraq earlier this month. 16 more cases are added to those Pentagon officials announced last week. John Lawrence reports.
President Trump at a rally Tuesday night in New Jersey applauding U.S. troops for the drone strike that killed a top Iranian general earlier this month.
Weeks ago, at my direction, the U.S. military launched a flawless precision strike that killed the world's #1 terrorist, Qasem Soleimani.
And now the Pentagon reports 50 military personnel are suffering from traumatic brain injuries following Iran's retaliatory missile attack on U.S. forces. According to a Pentagon statement, 32 of those service members are back on duty after treatment. 18 were taken to Germany for additional evaluation and treatment. President Trump and the Pentagon originally said no U.S. troops were killed or injured in the January 8th attack from Iran. But last week in Switzerland, the president backtracked on the issue.
I heard that they had headaches and a couple of other things, but I would say, and I can report, it is not very serious.
Traumatic brain injuries aren't always immediately apparent, but the Pentagon's announcement shows the attack was more serious than first reports indicated. The Defense and Veterans Brain Injury Center says most TBIs suffered in the military are mild. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
About 1 in 10 women in Utah self-report as having postpartum depression. Kim Peterson found out how new moms can deal with this issue. Kim?
I sat down with experts and a mother currently struggling with postpartum depression to better understand what it is and healthy ways to cope with it.
The actual definition is depression that can start during pregnancy and continues beyond the immediate postpartum period. If a mom is really depressed, she can't take care of her family.
After talking with an expert, I met with a mom who deals with postpartum depression on a daily basis.
I have a 3-year-old, a 1.5-year-old here, and a 6-month-old. I experienced postpartum depression with all of my children. I didn't even recognize at all that I had any type of depression. They tell you all about it, but it's very different for each individual. I was just kind of lethargic and apathetic. It's something that you feel like isn't ever going to pass. It does, but it doesn't feel like it. I had a lot of really scary feelings of not wanting to harm him, but wanting to harm myself, wanting to drive really fast off the road.
So how does Emily cope?
There's a lot of really great kickboxing free videos on YouTube and a lot of dance workouts. Dancing helped bring a lot of endorphins. Do you need to go potty?
She also bakes with her kids.
We are making Lazy Mom donuts.
Moms like Emily can also seek professional help.
Reach out to groups, support groups, or group therapy. I really want to convey to moms that they're not alone and that this is nothing to be ashamed of.
If you or someone you know is struggling with postpartum depression, you can kickbox on YouTube and you can call 1-800-773-6667.
Thanks, Kim.
A strong handshake can impress future employers. And by handshake, we don't mean the greeting, but the new BYU app students use to connect with companies. Handshake helps students apply to jobs, internships, and connect with peers and employers. BYU students will get an opportunity to network with 120 companies at the STEM Fair tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Students can prepare for the fair by attending the resume review this week, where they can get help polishing the resumes and setting up handshake accounts. For more information, visit careers.byu.edu.
Students at Cascade Elementary School celebrate the Chinese New Year with a lantern festival. Students made paper lanterns and brought them to the event last night. The lanterns lit up the school hallways. Students and their families celebrated the holiday with a variety of activities, including Chinese calligraphy, a lantern walk, and a Chinese lion dancing performance. The elementary school is one of 33 in Utah to have Chinese immersion classrooms. Senator Mitt Romney was busted yesterday after walking with BYU Creamery chocolate milk on the floor of the Senate.
Karanina Muñoz tells why he had to be reminded of the Senate rules on beverages.
The senator was found sipping from a BYU Creamery bottle, something that Senate rules frowns upon. A Senate officer reminded the Senate about the rules that had been violated, and Senator Romney decided to retreat into a Republican cloakroom to pour his BYU Creamery milk into a glass. The drama had many people talking, including late-night show hosts like Jimmy Kimmel.
We know that other than water, senators have been allowed to drink one thing during the trial. You know what that is? Milk. And my guess is that no senator is chugging more of that milk than you. If tomorrow you go to work, you march those pleated dockers into the Senate chamber and talk some old-fashioned common sense into just a few of your fellow Republican senators, if you can do that, I'm going to send you a gift. I'm going to send you 2 gifts. I'm going to send you, number 1, your own milk cow, and number 2, all the delicious Twinkies you can eat.
There are many reactions on social media too. Let's look at some of those on Twitter. We have Jay Sandowski who says, "Can I get chocolate milk and some impeachment witnesses?" Thankful for a handful of Republicans who are independent thinkers in the United States Senate. And of course, that was one of them. Someone else says, "I wonder if Trump and Romney will be able to bury all their spilled milk under the bridge." And of course, the last one, "Romney never put water in his cereal when he had no milk. He doesn't know the struggle." Of course, those are some of the tweets that were on Twitter. Back to you guys.
look at this time lapse from the Sundance Mountain Resort conditions camera. You can see that storm that moved in yesterday. It really gave us a good dusting last night, a few flurries up there. And really that storm is hanging on still this morning. We've had a few good snowstorms for this winter season, which of course is making our skiers and our snowboarders happy. But this storm will actually stay with us for just a few more hours into the afternoon. Another light dusting maybe here or there, but we will start clearing up this storm tonight. Now with all of the snow that we've been getting, I wanted you to look at the snowpack. This is up in the Uinta Mountains, up in the basin up here. These blue circles, these green circles, those are areas that are hitting 100% of snowpack and above, which means we've got great water that could be coming down to us in the summer. The areas of concern are right here in these tan and white areas, actually right here in our valley. That's where we're not getting a lot. And you can see this is south central Utah as well, over by Sevier and Ridgefield and Loa. You can see a few green spots, but a lot of this tan yellow. That means they're not getting enough water down there either. But hopefully we'll continue to get more storms. We need a good storm next week to kind of clear out all of this cloudiness we've been having, and maybe we'll finally get that big winter snowstorm coming to us. Now our temperatures though are quite a bit warmer. They're not going to be looking like we're really getting a snowstorm for a few days, especially today in Logan. Look at this, 35 degrees. In Salt Lake City, 41. Provo at the same. Vernal over here, 14 degrees and only 29. So not even getting to freezing today. Very, very chilly out there. You'll need to bundle up. Ridgefield as well, below freezing, and 18 degrees, and down there in St. George in the 50s. Now for St. George, you're going to have sunny all week, basically Thursday through Sunday. You're seeing the sun, and look at this, 66 degrees on Sunday, but you'll have a 20-degree drop on Monday with some precipitation from our next big storm. Northern Utah is going to get more of this big storm. We might have some lingering snow showers tomorrow. We'll have cloudy day on Friday, but then our weekend will clear up, and we too will have a nice drop from maybe rain to snow on Monday. So a really warm weekend, but we'll be pretty chilly going into the rest of the week, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Oh, sweetie. Okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
The BYU men's golf team competed in the third round of the Southwestern Invitational, tying for 8th place in the tournament. Despite a lower finish than they were hoping for, the Cougars did post their best collective score yesterday with 290 after scoring 301 in the first round and 299 in the second. Peter Quest and Carson Lundell tied for 37th overall in the tournament after posting scores of 72. The Cougars will compete next in the John A. Burns Intercollegiate in Lihue, Hawaii, February 20th through the 22nd. Following their loss to the Houston Rockets on Monday, Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz hope to bounce back as they travel to San Antonio.
50-41. Donovan slices again inside. Big finish. You're watching a young star.
This is the first matchup between these two teams this season. The Spurs currently sit 2.5 games behind the 8th seed in the West. Meanwhile, the Jazz are half game behind the Clippers as they look to regain that 2nd seed. The game tips off tonight at 6:30. University of Utah's basketball coach Larry Krystowski honored Kobe Bryant in a press conference yesterday. The head coach hung a Kobe jersey over the front of the table he was sitting at as he spoke to the media. Krystowyak had multiple 10-day contracts with the Lakers in the 1996 and 1997 season. That was Kobe's rookie year. A Change.org petition has been made to honor Kobe Bryant. The petition would would be to change the NBA logo to Kobe. It already has well over 2 million signatures. Bryant joined the NBA when he was just 17 years old, retiring in 2016 after a career that spanned 2 decades. The current tricolor logo is the silhouette of Laker legend Jerry West, who was actually the general manager when Kobe joined the team in 1996. Nick M., the 16-year-old who created the petition, says he never expected it to blow up like it has. He says he started it as a way to mourn the passing of his role model and hero, Kobe Bryant. Taysom Hill, a BYU alum, one of the most exciting and versatile players in the NFL, and the man who could be replacing the legendary Drew Brees sooner than we think. Yesterday, reports began to surface that next season will be a send-off year and more of a transition year for Taysom. Teddy Bridgewater was the second-string quarterback to Brees last season, but after Taysom posted incredible numbers in almost every statistical category possible, it looks more and more like he will be the man for the job. Brees is 41 years old, and next season will be his 20th in the NFL. We'll be right back.
Another summer day has come and gone away from Paris or Rome, but I wanna go home. Oh, I miss you, you know. Let me go home. It'll all be alright. I'll be home tonight. I'm coming back home.
A company known for vintage video games now wants to run game-friendly hotels.
Atari says it plans to open 8 hotels in the U.S. that may look like this. They'll have spaces for virtual and augmented reality and venues for esports events. The company says parents will be able to host video game slumber parties and other events for kids. The construction of the first hotel in Phoenix gets underway this fall. Other future locations include Las Vegas, Denver, Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco, and San Jose. Thanks for joining us today for Newsline.
For more information or to share our stories with your friends, check out our website at universe.byu.edu/newsline.
Have a great day.